mocking me?
No, I'm not mocking you. It's Mocking With You, the podcast that settles the debates once and for all with your host, Lil B, and the hater.
Hello and welcome to the Mocking With You podcast. We're bringing you a very special episode. We're going to bring you the Mocking With You podcast All-Pro team because let's be honest, the NFL's All-Pro, AP All-Pro team was not the best, and it never really is. There's always players that it's a name. It's becoming more of a name award or a name honor. There's players that don't get it that should get it because they don't have the name. You still get some guys that have the stats or have the interceptions or something that gets on it, but the rest of their stats are bad. But because they had so many interceptions or sacks or whatever, they get on the all-pro team, but overall they're not that great of a player and they get torched. And we'll speak of those names when we get to them or talk about them because they won't be on our list compared to the AP's list. But we also hope one day we get to see Chris's beautiful face again. But, until his internet is back up and running, we get to look at
my internet is flattened today.
We get to look at the little face, the blue face of.
I think the blue face looks amazing.
Yeah, that's your facial expression of all times at all times. So it kind of works.
Yes, it is.
But let's go ahead. Let's get into this. Let me go and share the beautiful sheet that we made.
We just made right before the show.
No, we didn't make it right before the show. All right. Can you see it? Does it look good? Yeah, there we go.
I answered nothing, but no, there we go.
Yeah. All righty. So like we said, we're going to start. How are we going to do this is my question, Chris. Do we want to start with the quarterback or do we just want to start from the bottom up with the edge, punter? How do you want to do this? Are we all getting the quarterback? No, we're not.
It don't matter.
Why do you have two? I saw a K and thinking you had two punters. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with? Why do you have two punters on here?
My internet now. There we go. Oh, there we go.
All right. So we're doing all right. So you're getting all team. You get quarterback for all pro team 2, and I get quarterback for all team pro 1.
Yeah.
Or we just get
on the bottom.
Let's just go for the bottom, and you get to start with your punter here, sir.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. Sexy pick.
God. I mean, like, I didn't have a punter. If I was like, no, we didn't have a punter, so I don't have a punter. I might just take my punter.
You gonna take J.K. Scott, really?
I did it. Wait. I'm sure there's no more than punter.
No, there's definitely more.
I'm trying to think of his name.
Punting. Let's just you, sir. Yeah, punting's never important. Ryan, there's a couple of people with the better averages. Let's look who has the best average. Not that dude.
Not that dude.
We don't care about kickers. Sorry there, Rich Eisen. We don't care about kickers here on this podcast.
You really care about kickers, like, for real?
The one that keeps popping up most. This is your pick, though. I already know who I would take. There's a couple of good pickers. J.K. Scott doesn't even come up in the top 5 of any stat, so you'd be dumb to take J.K.
No,
Scott.
I'm a homer. I'm homering here.
Yeah, I know, but there's no.
Who do we have?
The one that has the most net yards per game is A.J. Cole. And then Brian,
yeah. We know A.J. Cole's fine.
Yeah, it's a punter. Nobody cares. We spent too much time on a punter.
Nobody cares. We spent 4 minutes on it. Sorry, folks.
No, yeah. And of course, unfortunately, we have it in dark mode. We got to figure out how to fix that in the future. Well, there we go. However, I did that. Do that.
What
AJ
you
Cole.
do? Oh,
I don't. I'm clicking on it. It dropped the drop down. We got to figure. Yeah, that drop down menu's been.
yeah, I don't know how to do that.
All right, but let's move
Yeah,
on.
no, it's all Newton.
We're gonna go on, move it too quickly over to the kicker side of the ball.
Woo.
I know kicking. I'm gonna go take the best kicker of this last year. This is kind of simple, I think, and I'm gonna take the Dallas Cowboys kicker, Brandon
Brandon
Aubrey.
Aubrey.
He had a really good season.
Not against the Packers.
Well, yeah, because the Packers didn't let them get in the range. But it was a real. Let's be honest. For kicking wise, it was a really bad year for all kickers. There was not a great. All kickers struggled for most of the part. But I mean,
Now my boy.
your boy did struggle too. Yeah.
Brandon Aubrey, let's go though.
Yeah, you get to move on. You get to start with the first defensive back, sir.
Ugh. I'm trying to think about what this is defensive back, so I don't have to just take a corner. But I'm just gonna go ahead and write some wrongs here. Because I know Broncos fans were mad. And I'm gonna go ahead and take two. Patrick McCann, second.
I was trying to figure out who you were taking there. Yeah, Surtain had a really good, solid year.
Yes, two. Sorry, I expected two.
Yeah. Patrick Surtain definitely had a great year.
I think the stats are not great, but he's a shutdown corner. They're not going at him.
Yeah, and I'm going to write another wrong here because the only reason this corner made it because he's not being all team one. Don't care. Get mad at me. I already took one Cowboy for you. DeRon Brand has no reason to be an all-pro player. He has 9 interceptions for a reason, and that is because he got beat just as much, if not more, than Trayvon Diggs did the year he had all those interceptions.
That was last year, by the way.
Against the Packers, DeRon Brand had 125 yards given up and 2 touchdowns. DeRon Brand is not a great corner. He's an okay corner. He has no reason to be an all-pro first team. Who should have been an all-pro first is this gentleman. This gentleman who only gave up 30 yards all year long, and that's Jalen Johnson of the Chicago Bears.
Wow, this is shocking. We're taking a bear on this one. You're welcome, Bears fans.
Yeah, you had some highlights of this last year. And
No, he might be on the not pro list.
Yeah. All right, you get the linebacker.
Oh, you know what? It's really honestly, I think they're playing this weekend, and it's looking like that hit is paying off for that trade. I mean, it's paying off for the Ravens, and I'm taking Smith, Laquan Smith.
Yeah, no, I think we all know who you meant as soon as you said the Ravens.
I would say clean, but I'm not thinking that. That is something, but
yeah. So again, not this gentleman who is the first team. This gentleman was first team, but he should be number 1 first team, if that makes sense. He fell behind votes against Myles Garrett. It makes no sense why, because this gentleman had better stats across the board than Myles Garrett and had less votes for first team all-pro. And we're correcting the wrong again. And TJ Watt is the first team all-pro edge rusher.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see why they gave him that? Because he has all the pressure percentage.
I don't care. So does, okay. You know who has a higher pressure percentage? is freaking is Rashawn Gary. Then by that logic, Rashawn Gary should be the. There's something going on. It's not letting me put TJ Watt here. There's an issue going on.
Yeah, I don't know what is wrong with this phone thing.
Yeah, the code isn't right, and I don't know how to fix it right now, but it'll be fine here. Something's wrong with 13. But all right, Chris, keep it moving. TJ Watt got selected. We know that. We'll update and fix it. You got defensive tackle.
Yeah, we have to go and fix that later. Defensive tackle, what a hard one. Is it a hard one? I feel like there's an obvious one, right?
There's a couple obvious ones, I think. There was a couple of really good defensive tackles this past year.
Oh man, I'm really blanking, but I'm thinking about a good one here, and I feel like he had like 8 sacks or something, and that was defensive tackle. You know who has had a really good season? Ed Oliver.
Ed Oliver is, but I wouldn't say he was all pro.
And no look at the sacks and the tackles, please.
I'm looking at something else. There's a gentleman that is obviously the guy you should be taking, and you're overthinking this extremely.
Go ahead and tell me.
It's Jones.
Oh yeah, it's Jones. Nah.
I'm gonna say you're overthinking that way too hard.
Yeah. Sorry. The Haters man is in here.
Hater didn't think he was going tonight. That he had internet issues, so he got his internet working at the last second, and he's here. We thought we were gonna have a special guest, so Hater is a little off.
Yeah. I am way off.
This one is gonna. All right, I'm homering. I do not give a crap. This gentleman got robbed for not being on the first team or the second team. This gentleman played 903 snaps this year and gave up zero pressures and zero sacks. And this gentleman is Elton Jenkins for the Green Bay Packers. This gentleman should have been a first-team All-Pro. It's just ridiculous he didn't get the nod for this position. Again, there it is.
It's okay. But it's not, you know what, it's not working for some reason.
Yeah. All right, you got offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle, man. Man, how about Javon Jones? That's in.
I was about to say, I was going to go put it in, but.
Javon Jones did have it this year, didn't he?
He did. I mean, but I don't know if that would be the guy I would be putting.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about who really stood out to me for you.
You know, Myles Garrett was 7th in sacks this year, and yet
that is exactly why I was like, okay, I don't care about pressure percentage. What did you actually in the stat sheet? Okay, help me out here, maybe.
It's not that hard there, Chris. It's an offensive tackle. You're overthinking it again. Like, it's an offensive tackle, sir. The Packers are literally about to play the team.
No. All right. You know who I'm taking. The San Francisco tackle.
Trent Williams, for us who can't actually know. So this one is actually fun. Tight end. Because I was on a podcast earlier. It was Talking with Ted behind Enemy Lines. Go give him a follow. He's fantastic. But I was on his podcast earlier today, and for a second we talked about the tight ends. You know, for a very long time, tight ends were horrible. Like, not horrible, but they weren't. It wasn't a position of like sexy in the NFL. It was only like, okay, you had Mark Andrews, you had Travis Kelce, and you had George Kittle when healthy. That was it. So it was like, it wasn't a lot. But this year, man, you had Sam Laporta come on, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Likely, the Packers guys. All these rookies are looking good. All these younger tight ends. Dalton Kincaid. I mean, this was a really good year of tight ends, and the tight ends are David Njoku had a great year. It was just exciting for the tight end position. And this one's very hard because there's just so many tight ends to choose from.
I really don't think that Kelce is deserving.
No. And I'm not giving it to Kelce. I'm going to give it to the best team in the league right now. And I'm going to give it to George Kittle. He had a great year from the tight end position. And it was good to see him come back and stay healthy. I don't know. It's what is wrong with me? It's my sheets. Yours are working. You did something to my shit, sir. You just don't want me to put my names in. Because look, it works for you. On mine, it doesn't work. For you, it works. For me, it doesn't.
I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. No, how can I screw it over the other this week?
You just said screw me, man. All right, wide receiver 2. You got wide receiver 2 here, my good sir.
Oh man,
there's a lot of good wide receivers. That's a problem this year. This is a great.
You had that many. You had that. Okay, so we can't put CeeDee Lamb at 2 here. I feel like that's in a crime, but we could.
I think you have to. There's a wide receiver 1. If there's obviously wide receiver run, I'm taking him.
I'm taking CeeDee Lamb here.
Okay, you can't. CD had a great year. You can't get mad at CD Lamb.
Finally, he had it in you.
Yeah, I agree. This was his first great year in the league. I thought every other year he wasn't as what everybody was making him, but this was the year he finally broke out. But obviously, wide receiver 1, no reason to sit here and try to overthink it. It's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, who should probably be in the MVP conversation, is wide receiver 1 for the Mocking with You podcast all pro team.
Yeah, okay. Look that, right? Quarterback.
You got running back, and then I go quarterback.
Oh, running back. Okay. Oh, running back. Man, that's hard.
No, it's not.
No, put in the athlete.
I was going to say, shut up. I was putting CMC. I'm not going to sit here and try to write that all out.
CMC, we're all right. Oh, look, mine works.
Yeah. All right. Let's be honest. I had a poll out there today. I don't know if you saw the final results. I put a poll out for unanimous quarterback.
Number 2-1.
Because let's be honest, no positional player is going to get it. So there was 4 quarterbacks I put on that list. Lamar Jackson was quarterback 1, got 1 vote for 3% of the votes. Coming in at 60% strong is going to be my All-Pro QB1. Much deserving, even though he had a bad performance in the playoffs. The quarterback Lamar never has a good game in the playoffs. So Dak Prescott is quarterback 1, and in my eyes, MVP, because he had an amazing season at quarterback when the rest of the quarterbacks were having a bad year. But then Josh Allen came in at like 20% of the vote, and my quarterback Jordan Love came in at 17% of the vote for that unanimous.
Looking at the hater. Don't think Josh Allen's overrated. You really want to give Josh Allen.
Are you going to move on from your hatred of Josh Allen?
All right. So
before we move on, quick recap. We had AJ Cole at punter, Brandon Aubrey as kicker, Patrick Surtain and Jalen Johnson as quarterbacks, TJ Watt as the edge, Chris Jones as the defensive tackle, Elton Jenkins as the interior offensive line, Trent Williams as the tackle, George Kittle as the tight end, CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill as the wide receivers, C-Mac, a.k.a. Christian McCaffrey at running back, and Dak Prescott as our all-pro Mocking With You podcast team. We're going to go ahead and do our all pro team too. And I get lucky enough to take the punter here. And I'm going to take the gentleman with the best average and the tied up there with the most net yards this year with 54. He had 54 punts. That's why I really liked him, but then I remember he only had 54 punts. I was locked on him for a long time because of his punts. That's the problem. I was sitting there staring at him, but then I remember he only had 54 punts.
What was the reason why he only had 54 punts? That much?
I think that's why. I think he was on a winning team. But this gentleman unfortunately had a great this guy had a great year because of the team he was on lost their quarterback within the first 52 seconds of the NFL season. And this gentleman had 4,831 yards, the longest being 62 and 99 punts. He had the most net yards with 4,136, and I'm taking Thomas Morstead.
Dude, Thomas Morstead it's like nearly the end of the punters.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's like the content forever.
Yeah. All right.
You know who I'm taking?
Who are you taking?
Cameron Dicker.
You're taking Cameron Dicker. Of course, you had to at least throw one Charger on this list, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
And what is that?
Very much so. He did. And I'm going to put this gentleman here because this gentleman had a great year on his new team coming over from the Cincinnati Bengals. And I really believe this gentleman deserves to be an all-pro. And I'm taking Jesse Bates.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about, man, there was really a safety that had a really good year, and I don't remember. That was
he had 6 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. I mean, hold on. I just pulled up his stats and they froze on me.
That he was on the Falcons.
He had 89 tackles this year, which is really high. 132 combined. 78 of them were solos. He had 11 pass deflections, 6 interceptions, 95 return yards with a 15.8 average, 1 touchdown, 3 forced fumbles. I mean, that's a hell of a year, and the Atlanta Falcons have to be ecstatic with that first year of it with the contract they just gave him.
Yeah. All right.
You got the other corner here, sir.
All right.
Are you going to give it to him?
I'm giving it to him. Ron Bland, come on down. Got 9 hits or whatever. And the fact that he got hit 6 of
5.
You know what? Yeah, he had 5 of them.
I mean, he had a good year, but there's a reason why. What's that?
Well, Eric Allen, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Very much so is. I'm going to make it simple here. Another great linebacker. He's been a great linebacker. He is arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. And, of course, my team gets to play him. And I'm taking Fred Warner. Fred Warner deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the late one for that. I mean, perfect year.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not arguing that Roquan was a bad pick. I'm just saying Fred definitely deserves to get the nod here as well.
No, I don't. Tyler's going to be happy.
You doing it?
Trey Hendrickson. Look it.
Yeah, I like it. What did I do? I hit the wrong button. I like it. I thought it was dumb that they allowed him to walk in the Saints allowed him to walk, and they kept, sorry, blanking the name on Marcus Davenport.
Yeah.
I thought that was so dumb. I thought Trey Hendrickson. I love Trey Hendrickson. I love that draft or that signing by the Bengals. That was a really good move by them. Yeah, that was good. I like that very much so. In here, this gentleman, and I don't care and I hope you're listening right now because I'm talking to you all Rams fans, especially you, Jake. No, Aaron Donald does not deserve to be a 1 or a 2 All-Pro team. He is automatically just given that award because of his name. Did he have a good year? Yes. But there's a gentleman, Chris Jones was better, but this gentleman came onto the scene this year and played his heart out and led defensive tackles in sacks with 13 of them. And this gentleman arguably could have been cute or on team one and should have been over Aaron Donald on the real one. And Aaron Donald only gets it because of his name. Doesn't matter. I get his triple team every time, but I get it. I'm not trying to throw shade at Aaron Donald, but this gentleman had a better year and it was more deserving. And I am taking Justin Matabuke from the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm thinking about.
Matabuke.
Well,
Matabuke.
You understand why I remember his last name?
Yeah. I mean, for a defensive tackle, he had 13 sacks. He had 56 total tackles. He had wrong guy I was looking at. He had 2 forced fumbles. I mean, he had a hell of a year for a defensive tackle. He's the only – Chris Jones was the second. And then Zyler from the Miami Dolphins are the only 3 defensive tackles with double-digit sacks. Aaron Donald had 8 sacks this year. I understand it's not all about sacks.
Yeah, no,
but I understand Aaron Donald gets doubled and tripled.
Not all about sacks.
But this gentleman had a hell of a year, and he was amazing at the run stuff too. He got it pisses me off because he got really bad. He got boned. He got really shafted. I think he was the biggest. What is it usually when people get what's the word for when somebody gets left off a list and everybody says what's the biggest?
He got hosed.
Yeah, he got hosed. Whatever. I'm mad. Justin Matabuke, you make it on our All-Pro team.
No,
all right, Chris, you got the here.
Whoever I
don't think they had their guards suck. I didn't think their guards had one, dude. They're actually talking to the guys today. The one guy was talking about their guards are actually their weak position. Just do it. Be nice. The gentleman's about to retire.
Yeah, is it?
This gentleman's about to retire. He had a great long career. He has a brother.
I'll have to pay it upon him of getting those got the butt whooped. And I'll get it from Elton.
And it's not like Jason had a bad year either, but Jason Kelsey, is arguably should be on this list as well. Definitely, since we're only doing one. So I get the left tackle. See, this is where it gets interesting because the left tackle position. You had the easy locked up. It's not left tackle. It's
I'm
just
losing
tackle.
you, by the way.
What's that?
There we go. Never mind.
All right, I got it. This team is the second best team in the NFC. They advance. Well, first time in 30 years they won a playoff game. This is the player that everybody was yelling that the Bengals needed to take over Jamar Chase. And I'm taking Penei Sewell.
Hey, remember when everyone's like, Penei Sewell's terrible. And I was like, down in the table.
Everybody was saying he's not a left tackle, and do you take a left tackle that high, a right tackle that high?
He's not a left tackle.
No, he's a right tackle. I know that, but that was everybody's argument.
Yeah.
Is, do you take a right tackle as high as of where he went? Hey, if he's going to be an All-Pro, you take it all damn day long. And you protect your quarterback.
Remember when everyone was like, his legs are clicking legs, and then you see how much power that guy had when pulling?
Yeah.
Dude, you don't want to get in that guy's way.
No. All right, you get the second tight end. No, you get the tight end.
Tight
Sir.
end? Oh, tight end.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is a hard one. You know what? You know what? I'm giving it to him. No, I never thought this guy would be as good as he was this year. And I'm giving it in the field, too.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. David Janoku has been in the league for so long. It was just, and it was Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco just finally gave David, used him, and it was fantastic to see. Definitely after David Janoku like steaming off a half of his face during Halloween and wearing that mask and wearing a visor to protect his face from burning his face as bad as he did and going out there and having a big game. But David Janoku,
and remember like the hype plan.
Oh, he
it was like the
hype.
hype plan,
I mean, this is his
and he finally lived up to the hype.
Yeah, 81 receptions, 882 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Like his next best year. His next best year would have been either last year was good, where he had 58 receptions for 600 yards, or his sophomore year with 56 catches and 639 yards, both 4 touchdowns. This was the career high in yards, catches, and touchdowns for David Janoku. And I like it. He's definitely not lived up to his first-round draft pick, but it's good to see him having a great year.
Now.
Yeah, this is where it gets fun. All right. We only have taken one of this team from the NFC so far, and I just took him in the second round. And, of course, I think this gentleman arguably had a great season as well for the Detroit Lions. And I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown for wide receiver 2. Yep, I'm going to screw you, sir, and take him.
Oh. That is despicable. All right.
I'm trying to think who you.
I'm staying in the NFC. Give it to him. Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, to miss the games he did and still have 1,000 yards.
Dude, he's a monster. If you would have played the whole year, he probably would have been second team.
Yeah.
Or not second team. You know what I mean? First team.
So, this was a really bad year for running backs. Only 12 running backs had 1,000 yards. 12 had 1,000 yards this year, sir. And that's just like
I really think of one running back that is super deserving. And he had a first on the team.
See, I think I'm going to go with one way because this gentleman had 1,012 yards, but 18 touchdowns and helped the offense he worked on. And I'm going to give it to Raheem Mostert.
Oh, wow. And know how old he is? 31 years old, and he did that.
I just think it's deserving to be on the list to be recognized for having a year he did. It's just like he had 1,000 yards on 200 carries and 18 touchdowns. I almost gave it to Derrick Henry, but because he did have the second most yards. But I know Rams fans.
I really thought.
Are you going to talk about Kyren Williams?
I really thought that Kyren Williams was moving. I didn't think that the running back from the Texans was moving.
Oh, Devin Singletary.
Singletary.
It was between 3 for me. It was Derrick Henry, Kyren Williams, or Raheem Mostert. I just think with Raheem Mostert doing it on 200 carries and 18 touchdowns was just, impressive in its own. Kyren definitely blew onto the scene. If we had 2 running backs per both teams, I think all the guys deservingly would have got on it. But with only being 1,
I think that will be what we do next year. 2 running backs and then a safety next year.
Yeah, I agree. But who's our all-pro team quarterback?
Guess what? It's Lamar.
I don't know how. I'm not going to sit here and argue. I don't think it should be. We all know my hate. He didn't do well. I just don't get it. I don't.
I know he didn't do well. But winning still matters. And still didn't make the big plays when it mattered most. But him doing in the playoffs tomorrow.
I think his defense made bigger plays than him this year. Everybody gives him the credit for the wins and not the defense. The defense won a lot more games than Lamar Jackson.
I'm not saying that they got some turnovers and he capitalized on them.
I'm just saying I think he's the most overhyped quarterback in the NFL. I don't care. I don't think he's
Josh Allen.
of a lot of. That year he won the MVP, the first MVP he won, because he was amazing. That year was groundbreaking. I love Lamar Jackson, but then this is his best year in 5 years, and it's not even that. It's like a subpar year for most quarterbacks, and we're talking about him being MVP is asinine. But Lamar Jackson.
We'll get the handout awards later.
We'll hand out our awards later, but there it is. There's our team, but we'll go run down it again. So our second team All-Pro, we coming in with our punter with Thomas Morstead, the kicker Cameron Dicker from San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers, Jesse Bates, the safety from Atlanta Falcons, Deron Bland, the cornerback from Dallas Cowboys, Fred Warner, the linebacker from the Niners, Trey Hendrickson, the edge rusher from the Cincinnati Bengals, Justin Matabukwe from the defensive tackle from the Baltimore Ravens, Jason Kelsey, the center from the Philadelphia Eagles, Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from the Detroit Lions, David Janoku, the tight end from the Cleveland Browns, Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions, Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver from the Vikings, Raheem Mostert, the running back of the Dolphins, and Lamar Jackson, the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, is our all-pro second team of the Mocking With You podcast. I think that was a great episode. We didn't waste time. We went right through it. I think that's a really good list. People are going to complain and moan that some players aren't there. A position we forgot that the only all-pro player that the Packers had was kick returner. Nixon.
Yeah, we did miss that one. Well, next year.
It was a good one.
Both of those teams had all-pro hit returners.
Yes, true. But all right, before we give it up, let's do it. Let's omit something there, Chris. Hey, Chris, who was your Super Bowl, sir? Can we ask that quick question? Who was your Super Bowl?
Yeah. Look, both down.
So do you want to? Let's go through a quick predictions. What do you have for tomorrow's games? You don't get a mulligan. But tomorrow's games, you got the Texans versus the Ravens. That is a game you predicted. So who do you have predicting that game? Do you still have the Texans winning?
Man, this is hard. I'm gonna like the Texans.
Yeah, I think I'm still right with the Texans until Lamar can actually prove he can be a winning quarterback in the playoffs.
He hasn't played in 1 week.
That's going to be. I think that's going to be a really big thing. Then you got the Packers versus the Niners. Who do you got in that?
The Niners, the Packers tonight. So.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be interesting. They're Aaron Rodgers kryptonite. Just they're 0 Rodgers is 0-4 in the playoffs against the Niners. So, but. I get it. I think I'm leaning towards.
You're right.
I am leaning against the. I think the Niners win, but they don't cover. It's a 10-point cover. I don't think they win.
They're 10 points. Wow.
Yeah, it's a 9.5. It's a 9.5 spread for the Niners. I don't think they cover by 10. So I think by the money line they win, but by the betting line they lose.
Unless Jordan Love has a bad game, I don't think Aaron Rodgers.
I think we could easily win this game because Brock Purdy under pressure makes a lot of mistakes and throws interceptions, And if our front four can get in his face and keep him throwing off his back foot and doing what we did to Dak Prescott and company, I think we could easily win the game if we make Purdy beat us. We had to stop the run again. I think if we make Purdy be the reason we have to make Purdy beat us and not allow CMC to go off and win the game. That's my take, is that we have to stop CMC and get in the face of Brock Purdy and make Brock Purdy beat us.
Yeah. I think if the Packers and Storm, they'll lose.
Yeah. But then what do you got for Buccaneers Lions?
No, Lions.
Yeah, same. And then Chiefs but Bills.
Give me the Bills. They finally get over.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because that would then cause the Texans and Bills versus Niners versus Lions, and then the Lions would go. So it would be Texans going to Buffalo, which I would think then that would be the game that matters the most. And I think Josh Allen finally gets to the Super Bowl. Then you would have the Lions going to the Niners. Yeah, but that is this week's episode of Mocking with You podcast, where we brought you our all-pro teams 1 and 2. We hope you listed it. We will get a graphic and put it out there as soon as possible. And we hope you have a great week. Oh, I say that, and I don't have the audio ready. How dare I?
Well, let me just say, everybody have a blessed week while Little E is getting
Thank you for listening to the Mocking You podcast. Yours truly, Lil B at Brunelli Sports and the Hater at Supercharged 33.